So there is something miraculous, mysterious, but palpable and relatable that is happening through him, because he's so relatable. And if I may mention, the headquarters is in Switzerland, and his wonderful secretary comes from UK. I mention names of these countries because he is actually a world citizen, or he relates to people from different cultures on a level where they feel him as one of his own. So sitting here in New York talking to you, where we also have issues about people not getting along well, there are race relationship problems. What do you think is the most effective way to address these kind of misunderstandings, which leads to sometimes violent expressions, whether one to one or as a group?
The root cause is expectation. We put a lot of expectation on people, which suffocates them. That's one. Because capacity has to be understood. See, I can tell you how I run the organization. One word is trust. I trust people 100%. Everybody have weaknesses. Everybody has strengths. Nobody is only weakness and nobody is only strength. So I don't consider myself as perfect. I always believe perfection is always a process. It's never an end. We can always be perfect further. So the whole thing is that if I don't judge people, if I don't criticize too much, then allow failures to happen. Failures are always lessons. They help you grow. But the moment you think, oh, I should not fail, then you do not move either, because fear comes. So I try to take the fear off people. I tell them, fail, no problem, I'm with you. I do not normally like neglectors. That is absent-mindedness. That means mind is not there when you're doing the job. What the problem with that is, that affects conviction. When you have sincere conviction, mind will be present. So I insist on mind being present in activity. If at all there is absent-mindedness, move away and don't act. Don't do anything at that time. So you take yourself away. So that reasonable perfection we can do. Now we are in 6 continents, different types of people, different communities, different upbringing, different nature. And the subject which I am talking about is universal. Otherwise they can't connect. And the thing which unites is the familyship. I do not look at anybody as an outsider. I don't see them as like that. And they all look at me like that. Our relationship is, like you said, it's friendship. And that's the most natural thing. Why should you be a guru? Why should you be above anybody? I believe that I am not above anybody. Neither I am below anybody. I have my role, my space. Everybody have their space. So the thing is that acceptance instead of expectation and clarity of purpose is very important. I normally give them extraordinary clarity. This is what I am expecting to be done within this time. Like for example, as we said about Festival of Consciousness. They said we need 1 year time to plan. I said 10 days. In the time of COVID, you cannot get that time and space. Things change. Like I was supposed to attend a program in October, in the month of November last year, and because of COVID, it got postponed. So we have to plan this. We have to travel. We have to be available. But at the same time, there is no guarantee that it will work. So what we can do is that if like a foggy day, I can see up to there, I go up to there. This is the way we have to run the business and run the activity now. And my activity is usually service. There is hardly any, like all my meditations are free. It can be downloaded. Kriya is free. Most of the activities are free. It is a seva. We are completely 100% run on donations and volunteers. And all these volunteers have come. They have come because they like to be here. So, and I always tell them, you can choose to leave. If you don't like it here, you can leave, because there's no binding. I do not believe in binding. So that freedom is given, but they are welcome to stay, or they don't like it, they can leave. But the whole point is that the familyship keeps us together. This money cannot buy. So I believe that my biggest wealth is the love in the hearts of people I have seen for me, and the mission, and it's growing. It's growing rapidly. Now we are in so many countries. Nothing I planned. 10 years ago, I had no plan. Even today, 10 years later, I have no plan.
So without plan, things happen when the power of conviction is there, and the pure love he says there is no binding, but I think love binds in its own way, and that is to say. I'll mention few of the names of the organizations which are under the umbrella of Mohanji's inspiration, I would say. Mohanji Foundation, of course, is there. Then MU Cure, you mentioned, ACT Foundation, then Himalayan School of Traditional Yoga, then Language Martial Arts, and World Consciousness Alliance. And so, let me request you to say something about World Consciousness Alliance and
That's a unity of entertainers. See, the thing is today, you see how busy we are and how much under stress we are. So, excuse me, uh, sitting down and meditating is not always easy. So, but people love to be relaxed. The people love entertainment, and the entertainers and influencers have a big role to play in the world. So I conglomerated them. This is the WCA is a conglomeration of entertainers and musicians, not necessarily spiritual people, to raise the awareness of the earth, to that of compassion, kindness, non-violence, selflessness. And it's when it is said, expressed, at least the thought enters the mind. The seed is sown. So we need to have a collective consciousness shift now. The world needs a collective consciousness shift. Otherwise, the world is going in a kind of way where we have seen wars now. We are seeing wars. We will see wars further. There could be a possible world war as well. Anything or everything can happen. Everything or anything can happen. So it's important that the youth, the younger generation, grows up with that feeling of oneness, togetherness, love, compassion, selflessness, non-violence. So that's why I created the WCA platform through music, through arts, through festivals. We bring in the idea of oneness, one world, one family, uniqueness, expressing our uniqueness, which is the most authentic expression. So respect is one of the main thing. Like that, so bringing forth the artists and entertainers, that is why WCA is formed.
beautiful. And as we hear about oneness, the question that I would request you to address is how to go beyond questions. Because as long as there is seeking, there will be restlessness. And the stillness which you earlier mentioned with reference to Shiva's true form, and you just mentioned about war. So there are two questions that come to my mind. One is many people are not even aware about how many countries are there and how they function, etc. So when you start in inward journey, then how it is with you that you became aware, or what was it that led to so many countries?
Well, there is no country actually. It's only in the geography. Inside, it's just one whole expanse of space called Earth. So the idea of country is only in the mind. When do we have a country? When we are awake, when we are dreaming or deep sleep, where is the country? So that's only a man-made structure or man-made barrier. So I normally go beyond all man-made barriers like caste, country, culture, color, religion, language. I don't believe in them. And secondly, the consciousness that we see, like once we connect to our consciousness, all that we see around us are consciousness at work, in different forms. So I do not normally see another individual. I see the play of consciousness in another body. Like the same electricity operating in this body is called Mohanji, and in the body of a tiger is called a tiger. A whale is a whale. Same electricity. So I see that consciousness at work. So in that mode, I do not see any difference. Whichever country or place I go, I don't even feel. Sometimes I was telling them, I wake up to the feeling that I'm probably in India, but I'm probably in America. All these places are same. Of course, terrains are different and the language and things are different. But there is this unity of consciousness which makes you feel at home everywhere.
Okay, so now we go from unity of consciousness to the practical reference of war, and as we speak, we still have Russia and Ukraine at loggerheads, and there are horrifying images coming from Ukraine. And your organization is also serving people in Ukraine. So connect these two sides. One where you experience there are no countries, but then actually there are countries. So sometimes people find it difficult to find a harmony between these two perceptions. So address that as well as what you are doing in Ukraine.
Right. When I say when you become the consciousness, when you're one with consciousness, there are no barriers. That is there. But politically, there are barriers. But politics is run by minds, not consciousness. Consciousness never runs politics. So politics is the cause for all these barriers. And that's usually selfishness that created 195 countries. So in Ukraine, now this war situation, what creates a war situation? It's intolerance, greed, selfishness. There are so many factors which creates a situation of war, which is probably not even changeable to a few people. Like I know very well, I cannot change a war situation individually. Collective consciousness has created a situation like that. Collective consciousness created Hitler. Collective consciousness created Putin. Collective consciousness created all the leaders of the world. Everything is created from the people. So I individually cannot do much about it. So what I can do, help the helpless. That's exactly what we do. We are helping the helpless, the victims of the war, the displaced, the people who are running away. And those kind of people, what we are trying to do is to supply food, clothing, shelter, healthcare, those kind of things. And our people drove all the way from UK in our van to Croatia, to Romania. And Romania, and even crossed over and met the mayor and distributed food and materials to people there. And even now they're doing it. There are people staying in Romania to help them. Then also we supplied some food to Odessa. So one lady came with a car, we filled it up, we gave them petrol, etc. to go all the way. So we are trying to do what we can within our capacity. I believe that each of us has to do only that. Because if you cannot change the collective consciousness of people, at least express our individual consciousness to the highest possibility. That means compassion, kindness, selflessness. Let it be visible. And that also, as per your capacity. This is enough today. If all of us share within our capacity, the world will have a lot more than what it has now.
So the world should move towards a sense of harmony and oneness, and that is what Mohanji is also, in his own unique way, bringing that awareness and consciousness. And you are also very much emphasizing on ahimsa, vegetarianism, vegan. So, talk to me. When there are cultural differences, and some people find it offending if you ask them to become vegetarian. Have you experienced?
Well, this is a perception. But I normally I think everybody knows that I follow vegan diet. And there is a reason for it. This number one is ethics. And second, I care for the world. Third, I care for all the beings of the world. So I believe that every being on earth has the right to live a full life. And I do not believe that I can take anybody's life for my pleasure of tongue. So I can't even understand or feel or believe that we can tell any animal, hey, you don't need to live, you can die for me, for my sake. I do not believe that it is ethical to separate a calf from a mother cow. It is unethical. The place of a child is with the mother, because that's one of the most beautiful of all relationships of the world. In creation, a mother and child relationship is very deep, very profound, and it is unimaginably sacred. So I do not really believe that we have any right, even if we are very rich, very powerful, or we have a lot of reasons for it. I do not believe that we have any right to separate a mother and a child. We have any right to take the milk which belongs to the calf for our sake. I do not believe that we can kill anybody and eat their body. First of all, this is not a graveyard. I believe that my body is sacred. It's not a graveyard for the dead bodies of other animals. So it's the question of ethics. But in the world today, law permits, and laws are not always ethical. Ethics and morality are terribly compromised because it's illegal to kill. And when we kill animals, even in laboratories, in the name of exhibition, you can see so many PETA videos, people for ethical treatment of animals, where animals are tortured in labs, and the people are enjoying it, sadistic pleasure, in the name of science. We have no right to do this. That's not human consciousness. That's a consciousness which is completely unnatural for human beings. So I am cultivating, or I am trying to cultivate amongst the people who like me, a consciousness where we don't have to hurt anybody, any being to live. That's why I follow a diet. So I have firm conviction in what I do. I have big time clarity in what I do. So even if somebody has a difference in opinion, it doesn't affect me. I never force anybody to stop what they're doing. If you want to have a pleasure of that kind, I'm nobody to say this. But I will not do this. My morality simply means non-violence. No violence at all in thoughts, words, action. This is my morality. My ethics is live and let live. I want all these beings to be happy in the world, not just me. And also we have created enough cages for ourselves. So now why do we create cages for other beings? Let the world be happy. Let the world have its normal, natural course. I also like to have a natural course in my life. I don't like to be bound. I don't like to be dictated or somebody tells me what to do. So we all have our right. That right, the expression of that right is my veganism. I recently got an award, the most influential vegan award from PETA, India. So there also I said the same thing. It's not about award. I mean, whether I get an award or not somebody recognizing me for what I do, I still believe in what I do. So this is it. But there are ethical way of, like, we used to have cows and calves in our houses traditionally. And if you have observed, all those calves were free to move. They were never tied. They were never detached from the mother cow. So cow and calf used to stay together. And then we used to take that milk, the excess milk, for our purposes in the houses, which is ethical. The cow is not affected. We take care of the cow as a family member, just like, and the calf is with us. Today, when we breed animals, like pigs are bred for killing, the child are taken away from the mother and killed. This is all agony, unethical. And even though things are legal, when they are unethical, I cannot accept them. It really hits me, it tortures me inside. That's why I stand with the ethics of kindness.
So kindness, in true sense, with Mohanji, and looking at the concluding part of our conversation, one question which I would request, not just a question, but something which would help most of us, how to arrive at that kind of clarity which would increase the power of conviction in whatever we undertake. I think that would solve a lot of people getting into depression also. So I know that there are no 2-minute quick fix solutions. Yet, what might help?
I can give you 1 second quick fix solution.
Okay.
Self-respect. Self-respect. We got to respect ourselves. Then only the world can respect us. See, this whole thing we talk about, it's amounting to lack of acceptance of ourselves, lack of respect of ourselves, lack of love for ourselves. That's why we are confused. Imagine, I will only do things which expands me. I will not do anything which contracts me, binds me, makes me feel insufficient. I will not do. That is self-respect. The self-respect aspect is cultivated properly, we'll have a great society. If all the people of the society lives with self-respect, that means true acceptance, self-acceptance. Not that others respect you. We should not look at anybody else. Do you respect yourself, and do you actually believe in yourself? If that happens, the entire world will respect us. So this is as a thing inside, how we accept, how we carry ourselves, how we love ourselves. So this is the fundamental for a powerful society, equanimous society, the society which is based on righteousness. That's possible, very much possible.
And so many things are possible, and slightly getting into that reference which we haven't touched. If you think bunking your classes and going to watch movies is something which will prevent your growth, then you should think again, because you have done that, right? During your school days. But how?
I think what we have to do in the school days we should do. We can't do that after 50 years. So I believe that each age has a certain licenses. We do certain things. So I had my childhood. Yeah.
So, I mean, and he didn't hide that part. So that is very inspiring, and that also tells us nobody is or nothing is bad in that sense. And
I've stolen money from home
You
for
stole-
buying toffees.
look at that.
Yeah,
Look at
because
that.
I was not
Yeah.
getting enough pocket money. Yeah. Recently, I told my parents I used to do that. Yeah, so my pocket money was not sufficient.
Now the expiry date of scolding you was gone.
Gone.
So they could not take
No, but I paid back in much larger level. I take care of them and I pay back. Yeah, but I believe that in certain ages we do certain things. Is it okay at that point in time? It is okay or not okay. It doesn't matter. Did we experience life in that size at that time? That's the only possibility. Because if I don't experience what I am now, I cannot experience it ever. It's gone. Each time, each space gives us an opportunity. That can only happen then. So
many opportunities have come his way, I would say, in a way which is difficult to comprehend. And 22 years in the corporate world, leading a team towards benefit and growth. And now, since 2012, in last 10 years, what Mohanji Foundation and other organizations with his inspiration are doing in the world is remarkable and miraculous. And I'll mention a few projects. One takes us to the reference of Thiruvannamalai, the abode of Ramana Maharshi ji also. There is a home for seniors which you have started. Then you have
abandoned old people.
Abandoned old
That's
people.
for abandoned, yeah. Neglected parents. So, yeah.
And then there is this fruit tree plantation derived, and this is very interesting. You went to Turkey to plant trees.
I went to many countries. In fact, fruit tree plantation, I consider this as our responsibility. Because now, if you look at the forest fires, how many forest fires we had in last 3 years, like Amazon, Australia, Russia, so many forest fires, even in Turkey. So so many 132 species are officially extinct in the last 100 years or so. And mostly it's because we have encroached into their territories. We have taken over many places. We have cut down trees. Food is not available. So I am on a drive to plant fruit trees. And as you know, the trees will bear fruits for whom the tree doesn't know. It could be birds, animals, people. So we planted trees in London recently. The mayor came along and the councillor came. We planted trees in London. In Turkey, we did about 100 plus trees. We'll be doing more. The target was 10,000 trees in Turkey. Then America, we have done. The ACT Foundation, we done. Yesterday, we planted a tree in the Universalist Church, Unitarian Universalist Church in Cedar Lane yesterday. So as much as possible, fruit-bearing trees, because this is for the continuity of species, even this species, human species. So I think this is our responsibility, and I strongly believe it is our responsibility to plant trees which will give forth food to the next generations to come. So we've done about 50,000 already. I think probably by the end of this year we'll cross 100,000, but it's not stopping there.
And what is not stopping is also offering meals to people, and that number is also quite large. And I'll conclude by the reference, which is very important. And as we are speaking, these are the days of Navratri, and the new Hindu New Year began on 2nd April. we worship Mother Goddess, and you have also initiated the need to redefine motherhood. What is that?
Well, we see a huge gap in the gender difference these days. It's not just in one country; it's all over. So my thought is to bring back the womanhood as the give respect to the womanhood as motherhood, and womanhood basically means motherhood, but it need not be own children, but that nurturing aspect of the nurturing aspect of human existence is women. So to bring more light and accent to the nurturing aspect of people, the woman, we have made a platform, but that's completely run by women of our group. It's fully orchestrated, oriented, and run by women of our group, and that's so many people are speaking about various subjects, and that's going to be an annual program. So not just speaking about something, but we will take care of the underprivileged children, girl children, etc. Now we are also starting Home for Juniors, which is basically for the abandoned girl children, and supported by Home for Mothers, abandoned women in India. So that we're working on that project now. So the whole idea is that give back respect to the womanhood. It is not in competition with men. I don't believe in competition. I don't believe in any kind of activism. That's not necessary. But we can, if you believe in something, we can emphatically do that on earth and prove it to the world.
Wonderful. So I'll just read the bullet points from his card: faith, liberation, purity, unconditional love. And very beautiful, creatively made card, and lot of creative beings from different continents are joining him. That is proof of the power of conviction and pure love. So, such a pleasure sitting and interacting with you, Mohanji. Pronouns to you with lots
Thank
of
you so much.
wishes.
Thank you for having me. Wish you all the very best. Thank you.
So, this is Ashok Vyas thanking Mohanji as well as on behalf of ITV Gold, our viewers. We extend good wishes. May there be more power with people who are dedicated to take us to a higher level of consciousness, add value to the world, and help us become better world citizen. Thank you.
Thank you.